people, I'm the dude and this is Let's Play Age of Wonders Shadow Magic. We're back with God knows what turn. I don't honestly know at the moment, I'd have to look in game, but anyways, we're gonna get going again as soon as it starts up. I'd already moved everyone from my last turn in the last video, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass the turn. Minar got a level, our human hero. I have the choice of upgrading his health, which makes him tougher and makes him move farther, his defense, which makes him harder to hit, or his leadership, which basically he gives buffs to other people in the group when he has leadership. I chose defense because I wanted him to be tougher. His defense is kind of low right now. Continuing to move my wizard back to my main town. And I'm going to go up to explore this town up here. I think it's an archon town. At this point in the video, I think it's an archon town. I decided to send my elephant riders off after that mana because I shouldn't need them. Plus they're low health, so I can get some health at the healing church thing. And it turns out to be an archon town. They are very good, and I am neutral. So they do not want to sell me the town. I have to kill them to take it. I'm just showing off their stats right now. They're all militia and they all have Holy Strike. Which means on top of their normal 5 damage, they get another 2.5. Which probably rounds to either 2 or 3 extra damage. It's also elemental damage, which means it's harder to resist. I'm going to go ahead and use my slaver to try and trap one, and fail horribly badly at it. I actually have pretty good luck at enslaving this video. Other than right here, obviously. I'm using my spirit to kill one of the militia guys. Yeah, right now I show off that this guy has holy weakness, and all the militia have holy strike. So even though these guys are really low level, the militia, they still have a pretty good chance to do high damage to my spirit. Which is ironic, seeing as he's my toughest unit because of his holy weakness. I'm using Minar to try and take out the other militia. No dice. The third militia decided to attack my trapper, my slaver. The spirit took out the third one, and at this point, I think I'm just going to try and trap again. Yeah. Basically, that's what you do with slavers. You put them in a little mini army, move them around the map, and trap things. And build up your forces that way, basically. You get free units, which is really nice. Very, very good unit, the slaver. And end up trapping that third militia. If it had let me trap him right off the bat, I probably could have gotten 2 of them, or at least tried for 2 of them. But no dice. I'm sending my human over here to grab that mana. You're relatively safe sending off your faster units, your mounted units, to go pick up resources. As long as you do it a little bit at a time. You know, move them a couple of spaces and then stop to see what's there. Like a dumbass, I didn't do that. I just used up all his movement. And ended up right in the middle of 2 different independent parties. Which is really stupid on my part, but oh well. At this point, I don't see any hope in saving my hero, but I'm going to give it a go. Even if I beat these 2 guys, which that won't be easy, I still have another group of 2 that happens to have a strangler in it. That was that second group that was standing next to me whenever I finished moving. So if these guys don't kill me, that group will, basically. It would take a miracle for me to survive this. Right now I'm running away as far as I can to split the crossbowman and the axe guy, the berserker, up. I want them separate. I want to fight them one at a time, basically. That's pretty much the only chance I have. A very slim chance, but it's a chance. At the very least, if I can beat these 2 guys, they'll be off the map. I won't have to worry about running into them again. Still fighting the berserker. He's getting a lot of hits in. He's already done half my health. Luckily, the crossbowman has moved pretty much into the exact position to where he'll move up, use all of his movement points, and not be able to shoot, which is really lucky for me. And then I take him out in 1 turn, which is also really lucky for me. But as you can see, the second group with the strangler in there, yeah, the pit guard, decided to waddle their asses up and basically attack me right after that last fight, which is not good. That Strangler is one of my units. It's a Nomad unit. It's also a tier 3 unit, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure it's 3. It's at least 2, but I'm pretty sure it's 3. But anyways, if he gets in range, he can strangle your character and paralyze you while doing damage. So if it's one-on-one fight, or in this case, 2-on-1 against me, there's not much I can do. See, he just strangled me and paralyzed me. I can't do fuck all now. I'm basically just screwed. Which sucks, but oh well, can't do anything about it. Looks like this is the end for our fearless hero, Minar. And the Barbarian finished them off with a giant two-handed sword hit to the face. Poor Minar, you will be missed. He wasn't really a great hero. Any hero that doesn't start out with spellcasting, in my book, isn't really worth keeping in the first place. Plus, he also had, the only good thing he had was leadership, which is, I'm going to have that in spades, basically, whenever I get my main town up and running. Because there's a unit that I can produce for my main town that has leadership, bard skills, which increase morale of the whole group. On the same unit, it's a mounted unit, it has really good stats. It's just a really good unit overall. So Minar really didn't serve any purpose as far as his basic skills go. I'm just using that militia that I enslaved to hold that town for me, basically. This early in the game, when none of the enemy wizards have found me yet, it doesn't really matter what I leave on a town. It can be a level 1 unit that it'll hold it just fine. Sorry, got some water stuck in my throat or something. I'm producing housing with all my villages because I want them to become towns or cities or whatever the hell it turns into next. At this point, I'm thinking about exploring the underground again. If you remember in the last video, I tried to explore it with my Nomad hero and she got killed right off the bat. I want to get into the underground and see what's down there. Make sure there's not a wizard below me, below me under this part of the map. If there is, he could be extremely close and I not even know it, basically. Which would be bad. Oh, so yeah, I really want to get down there and just, explore a bit, see what's down there. Used my horse archer there just to pick up some more treasure that was scattered around the map. My scholar is taking 43 turns, which is a pain in the ass, but oh well. I'm just showing that off right now. It's going to take 43 turns. It was 27 turns earlier, and it mysteriously jumped to 43. I don't know why it does that. I didn't change the amount of mana going towards research, so I have no idea why that happened. In a minute, further in the video, it's going to jump down to like 27 turns or something spontaneously on its own. Like I said, I don't know how that works. I should have mentioned earlier in the first video, but I've played this game 1,000 times. It's in my top 10 games of all time. I love this game. I have played this game to death. I love this custom game mode, skirmish mode. The storyline's okay, but it's boring once you've beaten it. There's no point anymore. So mainly I just play very large map skirmish modes like this, and I just have tons of fun with this game. But anyways, I found an elf town. They want to sell me the town, but I don't need to buy it from them. I can just kill them and take it. So I'm not going to pay them for it. My wizard is back in my main town. And my main town is still building horse archers. For the nomads, the horse archers are basically your best scouting unit. They have a really good chance of winning a fight against 1, maybe 2 units. And they're really fast. They can move really far because they're mounted. So just for scouting purposes, spamming horse archers is a really good idea. That's basically what I'm doing with my main town right now. I'm choosing the guard mode. If you select a character, a unit that's on one of the towns that you control, you can tell it to guard. And then when you go to the bottom right there to switch to your units you haven't used that turn. I've done it a ton of times, but it's that arrow on the bottom right. If you go to that, it won't send you to your guard-enabled units. That way you don't have to keep going to every town when you don't want them to move in the first place. They're just guarding the place. That's what that button's for. And my spirit and my slaver are going to attack these 2 elves right here. I think it's a swordsman and an archer, if I remember right. I'm going to try and trap the archer, because if I can, I want archers for defense on towns. They tend to do better than the generic low-level sword guys. So I'm going to kill the longsword guy, and I'm going to try and trap the swordsman so I can leave him on this town to guard it. I ran with my spirit because I didn't need him, basically. And I successfully trapped the archer. I'm going to leave him on the town and set him to guard. And I think, yeah, I'm going to set it to produce housing. Eventually, I want to build wooden walls around all these towns. Once I get to that point, I probably have like 4 towns right now. Once I get to that point where they all have wooden walls, I'll start out by stationing archers at the towns. That way when they get attacked, usually it's melee units that are running around the map. Sometimes it's ranged. Regardless of what it is, even if it's a ranged unit, they have trouble shooting through walls, and the melee units have to break through the walls to get to the archers. So basically you have archers behind the wall pelting the guys trying to attack you, and they usually kill them before they can get through the walls. It's really a good strategy. Try not to defend with melee units if you can help it. I mean, I've done it a couple of times now just because I didn't have a choice. That's all I had at the time. But yeah, if you have a choice, try to get walls up for all your towns and try to station a couple of archers in there. And later on, switch the archers to siege weapons like ballista or cannons, stuff like that. Because they have higher attack than archers, and they do a fuck ton of damage. And their only real weakness is they don't move very far, but if they're stationed in a town defending it, they don't have to move at all. So that weakness doesn't even count. Basically, I'm just moving my armies around, checking out the map. That guy right there was an independent, but he wanted to join us, and because he was only one guy and he's a level 1 unit, he joined us for free, basically. That's basically his way of saying, please don't kill me. He just joined our army for free, which is awesome. It's always nice to get freebies. I'm trying to get these two to the healing. I really gotta remember what the hell the name of that thing is. It's like a church, basically. I'm trying to get my spirit there to heal him up because he's at like a 3rd health right now. And I wanted to cast Stone Skin at this point on the Slaver, because he's basically my most important unit right now. He's the one that's giving me all these free units to use. I ended up not being able to cast it on him because he's outside of my domain. You see the red dots right there that are around the main city? They're kind of hard to see, but they're there. But yeah, the spirit's outside of that, but the elephant guy was inside. So I went ahead and Stone Skinned him, gave him 3 more defense, so he's a lot harder to hit now. He already had, like, what was it? I think he starts out at like 7 defense or 8 defense, which is pretty good for a low-level unit. Now he's up to like 10 or 11, which is really good. My main town made another horse archer. I'm going to send him out to start scouting. I'm just deciding which way I want to send him right now. Looks like I'm sending him to the east. And then my other horse archer is still scouting up here. Gonna see if this is an exit. It's not. It's all walled in. Which means I don't have to worry about enemies coming from that direction. I'm just showing off what the buildings do. That circus right there, you can buy units from it. And this Rainbow's End thing, if you go into it, there'll be some guys defending it, and usually treasure if you kill them. The fire node down there that I just clicked on, if you take that over, it produces mana. I believe it produces more mana if you're fire specialist. I'm obviously not, I'm earth specialist. But I still get some mana out of it. I ended up recruiting this crossbowman, this dwarf crossbowman earlier. I didn't say anything because I was talking about something else, but my horse archer got him for free, I believe. Right now I'm trying to get him to my main town because my wizard's the only thing there defending it right now. It'd be nice to have an archer there. I'm just showing off what that's called. It's a hasteberry tree. Like I said in the first video, when you walk on it, it just gives you a lot of action points to let you run around. And there's 2 of these churches right next to each other. Sometimes that'll happen. It's actually not as useless as you might think, because if I remember right, only 1 group can use each one of them per turn. So if 2 groups are there and they both need healing, you can use them separately. This is the diplomacy screen. I haven't found any of the other wizards yet, so I can't talk to them yet. They either have to send some of their units into my territory and I have to run into them, or I have to send my units into their territory and I have to run into them. So, to find them basically, to be able to talk to them and trade with them and stuff like that. Still producing a lot of housing, trying to build up my villages. I found a group of 2 units there, so I'm going to go around them. They're independents. I don't want to get in a fight with them. I highly doubt those 2 could have taken out my horse archer. I probably would have won that fight, but I don't want to risk it, basically. It takes 3 turns to get these horse archers out, so I don't want to lose them if I can help it. The spirit and my slaver just took over that tower. Why there were no units guarding it, I don't honestly know. That's really weird. Usually there's units guarding it, even if it's independent units. But anyways, I took over the tower. It gave me a vision of a huge chunk of the map. That's what the tower does. It's also a defensible position. As you can see, it has walls and doors and stuff. If you have units inside, the attackers have to break through the doors. Seeing as I have no ranged units, there's no point in actually hiding inside there. I can't attack them until they break through the walls anyway. So I just sent my units out to attack them. They all have poison strike. Or at least most of the goblins have poison strike. And that one has first strike. It allows them to attack first in any combat round. And pole arms, which means he kicks the crap out of mounted and flying units. So I'm not going to attack him with my slaver. I'm going to attack him with my spirit. The other goblin also has poison strike. And he has block, which I went over block several times in the last video. But basically, your first attack usually misses. That's what block does. It also makes them almost immune to arrows. So block's really good if you're up against archers. I'm going to surround him and hope that trap enslaves him, and it does. So I get a free goblin unit. Hopefully the music's not too loud. I've got music going in the background, but I've got it really low, just so when I'm not talking, it's not just dead silence. I might actually have it so low you can't even hear it. I don't know. Anyways. If it's bothersome, just let me know and I'll turn it off. But yeah, when I'm not talking and there's not music on, it's just going to be like, you know, dead silence or static, one of the two. Just grouping up my units. I found a human footman for 0 gold pieces. Another freebie unit. Like I said earlier, when you run into low-level units and they know they're going to lose the fight, they basically just give themselves over to you so you won't kill them. Which is really nice. And it makes sense, too. I mean, they don't want to die. My horse archer just found an orc town, which is very cool, because orcs have 2 very good units. The warlord is arguably the strongest level 3 unit in the entire game. Especially once you get a certain building in the orc town, that gives all the orc units life stealing, which means every time they attack, they get life back. Extremely powerful ability. But yeah, once the warlord gets lifesteal like that, he is ridiculous. He's almost as good as a tier 4 unit, which are the best units in the game. So yeah, whenever I get that orc town built up, you will see me building warlords. Also, the other good unit is the Doom Bats. They start out with lifestealing. They start out with ridiculous defense. I think they start out with like 15 defense or some crazy shit like that, so they're extremely hard to hit. And they start out with double strike, which means every time they swing, they get 2 strikes. 2 attacks. Normally everyone gets 3 attacks per round, so they get 6 attacks per round, which is ridiculous. And all 6 of those attacks have a chance to steal life. So, they're really strong. That guy has a polearm, so again, I don't want to fight him with my elephant, or at least I don't want to get most of the hits in on my elephant, so I used the barbarian first to use up his action points. That way he only got 1 hit in on my elephant, and this should kill him. Yeah, there we go. I was thinking that first attack from the elephant would finish him off, but it actually took 2. Round attack there. You need action points to use it, that's why I can't use it right now, but when you do, it hits everyone around your character. So if there were multiple people attacking my barbarian, it would hit them all at once. Pretty good ability. It's not very strong on the barbarian because he's a really weak unit, but some of the later units, like the warlord gets it, the guy I was just talking about, he gets round attack. If you stick him in the middle of a bunch of units, a bunch of enemy units, and use round attack, he will destroy. He will do ridiculous damage. That's another reason why the warlord is so powerful. I ended up losing my barbarian there. It's not a big deal. He's a kind of crappy unit. He was actually slowing my elephant rider down because the barbarian's movement's really, really low. So it wasn't a big deal losing him. Moving my elephant rider down here because I want to start taking over those nodes down there so I can get some mana. I'm going to group that human footman up with my elephant rider and try to get a couple other units over there to help him too. Or at least that's the goal. A hero showed up, Estra. She wants to join my army for 125 gold pieces. She's a spellcaster. Like I said earlier, I don't like keeping heroes around that aren't spellcasters, so it's very good that she is. She starts out with Enchant Weapon, which is a buff that she's getting for free, and she also has Bard skills, which increases the morale of everyone in her group, which basically means they won't rebel with her in the group, which is really handy. If you run around in a group with let's say archons and an evil unit together, they'll fight each other. They won't like each other, and they'll want to rebel. Once that happens, they'll either disappear or they'll leave your army and walk away, basically, from your group, which isn't good. If you have someone with bard skills in the group, though, that won't happen most of the time. Very rarely will that happen, which is really handy. I'm still trying to get guys over here for this node because I want to take it over. I'm just showing off the hellhounds that are guarding it. They start out with ignition, which means every time you hit them, you have a chance to get burned. And when you get burned, you take damage each turn, and your accuracy, your attack score, is lowered, which is really bad. So those hellhounds are actually kind of tough. I decided to buy these orcs out because I didn't think I could beat all three of them with just one horse archer. And basically I wanted the town. So I'm leaving one there to guard, that one right there, and the other two I'm moving over to my elephant rider, and I'm going to join forces with him and try to take those nodes over there. This horse archer is moving over to this treasure. It is a +2 defense, +2 resistances with forestry chestplate. Forestry means when that unit walks over forested land, it gets more movement points, basically. And my horse archer just got attacked by these three assholes, and basically I'm fucked. There's no way I'm going to beat all three of them with the horse archer. The gargoyle is flying, and he's fairly tough. So I just quick battled it, basically. I knew I couldn't win. There was no point in doing a manual battle. At this point, I think I'm just checking who can move. I'm going to join this horse archer up and take these two mines up here. Or at least that's the plan. Just join up my forces and try and get some more income generating structures. At this point, my army is mainly consistent of a bunch of mishmash of shit that I got for free or I bought really cheap, or they're horse archers. So, yeah. I don't really have a cohesive army at this point, but it's working. Early on in the game here, you just need units. It doesn't really matter what they are, you just need units to scout the map and take stuff over. I tried to trap the crossbowmen, because, as I said before, crossbowmen are really nice for level 1 units. They are extremely good. He just blocked my arrows. That's what I was showing right there. But, yeah, the crossbowman's a really good unit for low level, and I want to capture him. I want him on my army, so I'm trying to enslave him right now. And the rest of my guys are just basically ganging up on this footman right here. Crossbowman just shot my fucking slaver. I didn't see how much damage he did, but it looks like about a fifth. Low-level units dodging a crossbow doesn't happen very often. It has way too high attack. And the second trap failed, which basically means it's not looking too good for me to be able to get this crossbowman. He just hit my slaver again, who is now at half health. The third trap actually hits finally, which is awesome. Hopefully, the enslavement will hit also, and I'll get a crossbowman out of it. We shall see. In case it doesn't hit, I'm just moving all of my other guys around here to attack him. He decided to be trapped for 2 turns, so I've got another free turn here to move my guys around. And I ended up trapping him, or enslaving him, which is really handy. That crossbowman right there will make a great defense for one of these towns. I think I ended up sending him, yeah, I sent him to this human town right here. Because those guys are melee, they make really bad defense. Like I said earlier, you want archers defending towns. Seeing as the... Yeah, I've built up the population of this town really high because it was the first one I took over. So now I can go ahead and build walls. Which is what I'm going to do right now. And I think I use these other 2 guys to group up with, yeah, the elephant rider. Basically, he's my weakest army right now. He's just 1 elephant rider. So I'm trying to get him a bunch of units to take over those nodes down there. I just got that mine when I captured the crossbowman, and now I'm going to try and get over there to that other mine by next turn. Ugh. Sorry, I had to take a drink. I don't know if I'm talking too much or I don't know, whatever. I'm just trying to describe whatever the hell's going on so people don't know, aren't going, what the fuck is that, you know? What the hell was that? I don't know what that is. I wish you'd have told me, you know, that kind of thing. Just trying to describe as much as I can. I'm not really used to post commentary, as in I've done it one time ever before on one video, so if it's terrible, that's why. So I formed up that group into a nice little fighting unit. Mainly the Elephant Rider's the only tough one there, but I don't really need tough units at this point in the game. I just need a lot of units. I decided to leave the Horse Archer out of this fight because I don't need him to win the fight. I'd rather get him back to scouting, which is his primary job at this moment. That's why I made him to go out and scout, clear the fog. Moving Minar over here, and at this point I meant to move him on the haste tree, but I'd completely forgotten when I decided to move him. In that moment when I moved him, I'd forgotten about the haste tree, so kind of stupid on my part, but not a big deal. I'll get him on it next turn. Not low went over on that round because no one could really get anywhere. It was just a lot of me forming up my units. I took over this orc town earlier, but like a dumbass, I forgot to produce housing on it, so I wasted a couple of turns. When you don't tell a town to build anything, it automatically just generates gold. It's called produce merchandise. So it wasn't a complete waste, but I should have had it building housing. So it's kind of a failure on my part. At this point, I'm looking at what I can build. I think I decide just to keep it on produce housing. It's got a wall right now, which means that crossbowman can take on damn near anything. As long as a really high level unit doesn't attack that town, he'll kick the crap out of pretty much anything, basically. I decided to go ahead and build my builder's hall in my main town because I want to start pumping out siege units to guard these towns. Mainly ballista and eventually cannons later on. My human moved too far over there, as you saw, after I got the haste tree, and there was a group of, I think it was 3 neutral units with a Yeti leading them. My human unit would have died horribly, so I ran her back immediately. That's why I said earlier that it was a dumb move to move my guy, use up all of his movement points immediately, because once you do that, you don't have a chance to retreat. So what you want to do is what I just did right there, move them a little bit at a time until you can see what you're running into, basically, and then run away if you don't like the fight. Otherwise, I would have lost yet another hero like a moron. And that hero, like I said, she has spell casting, which means she can basically use all the spells that I have in my spell book, but she has limited mana. Whereas my guy has 20 casting points right now, she has half that, 10. Later on in the game, I'll have something like 80 or 90 casting points. The highest a hero can ever get, I think, is half that, 40. And that's really high. So they're kind of like mini wizards, basically, if they have the ability to cast spells, which she does. So it should be really handy if I can keep her alive. My slaver went ahead and killed that guy. I don't think I tried to trap that turn. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I just didn't want those 2 guys. I probably should have. I don't know what happened there. Maybe I didn't have enough action points to trap. It's quite possible. I'm just kind of checking the map right now. Seeing what I've captured, see what I want to capture next. I still have that windmill right next to my fucking town. I don't know why I haven't taken that over yet. This horse archer found a Tigrin town. Which, as it sounds, they're basically cat people. Their level 4 ultimate unit is a beast. It's called the Sphinx. It has Drain Will, which basically removes willpower from other units. Willpower keeps you from controlling other units. There's various ways you can basically mind control other units in this game. If they have willpower, it blocks you from doing that, but the Sphinx can drain will. So basically the Sphinx can drain will on any unit in the entire game, even ultimate level 4 units, And on top of that, it has the best mind control ability in the entire game called Dominate. I'm going to leave the Fire Cat to guard the town because it's a ranged unit. It shoots firebolts, which are basically magic versions of archery. It's just a ranged magic attack. And I'm going to keep scouting with those two. I think at this point, I've got enough units to take this node right here, which is my goal. I want to start getting nodes because I want more mana. The more mana income you have per round, the faster you can research. This node right here, it has a special attack. All the nodes have some kind of special attack. The ground itself, not the wolves. The ground they're standing on has a special attack. This particular one, since it's a fire node, it basically burns your enemy team, which is what just happened. You see all my guys are on fire, which it means every turn they take 1 point of damage, and they lose 2 attack. So they're not going to connect very often, basically. Not the best thing for me in the world, but the Elephant Rider's so tough at this point that it really doesn't matter. Even if I lose all the little guys, the Elephant Rider will take these wolves out. One of the Hellhounds are down. I'm trying to move this last footman around to eat up his action points so he can only attack once. It's a nice little trick you can do. You waste their action points so they only get 1 attack. That way they don't die, basically. If I'd have moved him in immediately, he'd have gotten 3 attacks in, and the wolf might have killed him with a retaliation, which would have sucked. I don't want him to die. There we go. So I got out with 3 of my units. I think I lost 1. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I lost 1 guy. And I've got my first node. It's generating 10 power, which is basically mana. That's what it is. I think I'm going to try and get this next one, this down here, the one below me also next. Yeah, that's an earth node down there. Since I'm Earth Mastery, I actually get more mana out of that node, the one I'm heading towards, because it's also earth-based. Okay, so that was the end of episode 2, where basically I just explored a fuckload, got a bunch of freebie units, lost another hero like a dumbass, got a new hero for free, which is, well, not free. I got lucky, basically, and she just decided to show up and join me. Heroes do that sometimes. I don't know how it works. I don't know when they do it. They just show up at one of your towns and are like, hey, can I join your army? It's basically how it works. Anyways, I'll see you guys for the next episode of Age of Wonders.